Start off with cosine of 2x. We didn't do this in class, did we? Got like halfway done in the bell rang Wednesday and I yelled something awful. I'm glad we didn't record. Because you guys can't prove I said it out loud. All right. Let's see how bad this gets. What do you got for me? You don't have anything. You looked at this problem, you look at it for 2 seconds, and you have nothing. You have no simplification steps at all because I've trained you up. I spent a lot of time training you on simplification. You got nothing? Okay, so let's go to the list. If there's a double angle, you must immediately kill it. Is there a double angle in there? It says cosine 2x. That's a double angle. We must immediately get rid of it. That's our first step. Right? So we're going to immediately get rid of that, right? We're not going to think about it. We're just going to go right and get rid of it. So that's cosine squared x minus sine squared x. That's an identity. It's on your formula sheet. You can just look that up. You didn't have to memorize it or anything. Any more double angles or half angles? All right, next step. Change everything to sine and cosine. Change everything to sine and cosine. Done. All right, that's 2 things done. Do good algebra. Combine like terms. Little what? No, got nothing. You got nothing. I might notice that, by the way, this is squared. This is not a square, and this is a number, so therefore it should be set equal to 0. But I already did that. I got nothing. Last but not least, if you have a sine squared and everything else is a cosine, or a cosine squared and everything else is a sine, change the one that's wrong. Change the one that's different. Apply a little peer pressure. You can do that? All right, which one are we going to get rid of? How do you do that?
Yes.
We remember that sine squared plus cosine squared x equals 1 because we memorized that by chanting it all the way home. And so because of that, we know I can change sine squared to cosine squared. So I'm going to change the cosine squared to the sine squared. Which one am I changing? Are you flipping a coin in your head right now? Which one of these does not belong?
I really don't know what you're asking.
Okay. The reason why we can't do anything algebra-wise is because they're not like terms, right? Which one of them is the most unlike of the rest of them? There you go. That's all I'm asking. I'm asking what they, that song they did in Sesame Street. Which one of these is not like the others? We're doing that now. I bet they don't do that in Sesame Street anymore. Probably you guys didn't have that, right? Because now we don't want to pick on people that are different. But back in my day, they said, hey, let's pick today. Which one of these is different? Yeah, that kid's wrong. All right. Here we go. Cosine squared x minus 1 minus cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x minus 1 equals 0. So I notice that sine squared x equals 1 minus cosine squared x by this same identity. This is not on your formula sheet. You have to know that. Okay? You have to know how to get to it, or you have to know it. Stone cold. Okay, so I've got this going on. Now what? Back to the top. Any doubles? No. Any half angles? No. Change everything to sine and cosine. Did that a long time ago. What else is next? Do good algebra. How do I do algebra on this?
Yes.
You can say it.
Say what?
You said, I guess. Finish that sentence.
Right.
Well, yeah, I've got a minus sign out here, right? So I should get the minus sign first, right? The minus sign right there, algebra. Do we have that through? So I get cosine squared x minus 1 plus cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x minus 1 equals 0. Agreed? All right, so far so good. Now, algebra. What do we do? Combine like terms is what they call that, right? So this is going to be a cosine squared and a cosine squared. So how many cosine squareds do I have? 2. So we write 2 cosine squared x's plus 3 cosine x's. And then negative 1 minus 1, that's negative 2 equals 0. Do good algebra. What does this look like? What is it?
Like the one where there's one squared and then
Perfect. We call that a quadratic, but I don't care if you know that. What do we do to that thing that has a squared and not a squared and a blank one? We're going to use parentheses. We're going to factor is what we call that in math land. Instead of x's, though, what am I going to put in my little boxes? Cosine x. It would be cosine x here and a cosine x here, right? Everything else is going to be exactly the same, right? 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Factor the negative 4, they give me 3. 4 and negative 1, right? Because I need to make a negative 4 and I want to add it to 3. Okay? So these do have to give me 2 cosine squareds, do they? Yeah? So cosine times cosine gives me 2 cosine squareds? No, it doesn't. What do I need to put on there? 2. I put a 2 here. 2 times what is 4? 2. And 1 times what is negative 1? Negative 1. See how good this is? We're cruising right through this problem. Hardest problem we've ever had. Cranking right through it. By the way, I'm not looking at Solwyn, but Solwyn, if you have anything, like something pops up, like I've never seen this before, let me know so that I can, try to help with whatever it is. I suspect, see, so far I suspect, looking at your skills and what I've seen you do so far, I think you're well with us. You're fine. But if you see something like, what? Let me know. Okay. Yeah. All right, so now I got these 2 things. What do I do? Set them equal to 0. That's why I do my factors, right? Cosine x minus 1 equals 0, and cosine x plus 2 equals 0. How do I solve this? Algebra. What do we do? Oh, I didn't put a 0 here. My bad. Plus 1 to the other side. Isn't this nice? We know how to do all these steps. What's next? Divide by 2. See how nice this is? Equals 1/2. And what values of x give us 1/2 when we're talking about cosine? Oh, you turned in the right spot. I love it. 60 degrees. All right, I'm going to buy 60 degrees, but I think your answer is incomplete. The instructions say I want all the answers between 0 and 360. Right? Cosine's positive in what quadrants? And fourth, first and fourth, right? Because all sickly tigers cry. So since cosine's also true in the 4th quadrant, there has to be an answer in the 4th quadrant. What would it be?
330.
The reference angle is 60 degrees, right? So that means this is 60 degrees. Which means if I come around here, 300 degrees. Yeah? That's the one place. It's all in good? Okay. All right. Then it's over here. Cosine x equals -2, right?
Yeah.
What does cosine give me -2? Who knows? What do you mean, who knows?
I don't know.
You know. You just don't know you know. What's the highest a cosine graph gets up to? She's looking at the front.
Oh.
Really?
Oh, 1.
1. What's the lowest it gets down to?
1.
So when does it get to -2? Shh.
It doesn't.
It never does, right? So this part is no real solutions, right? No real solutions. So what's my answer?
60.
60 and 300. Love it. How bad was that? Really bad. Pain and suffering. Hardest problem you've ever done in your life, and yet kind of doable. Kind of doable. Kind of starting to feel like, well, I got a couple of steps right. I'm going to get a couple more right on the next one, and then we'll have this thing rolling. All right, so the other homework was to do number 5. Who else didn't have fun last night?